fight, effort, intensity, teamwork, leadership against the odds, away from home, 10 men against 12 with a referee. These are 10 things that we learned after Manchester United's win on penalties against Arsenal in the third round of the FA Cup. Number one is Zirkzee is a fighter. So 2 weeks ago, you can see the image on his left. He's been booed off against Newcastle when he was subbed off after around 30 minutes. That could have been the end of his Manchester United career. Instead, he comes off the bench against Liverpool. He plays well. And he comes off the bench again in this match and seals the winning penalty. Bruno actually said in his post-match interview, he said that the script was already written that this would happen. But to be honest, I think that's probably not giving enough credit to two people, both Zirkzee, obviously, and to Amorim for allowing him to come back into the team. To after subbing him off after 30 minutes, bringing him on as a sub, showing that, no, I brought you off, but I still do have confidence in you. But for Zirkzee, it's easy to shy away and not have the blame put on you in a penalty shootout, not want to take a penalty. And if we lose the penalty shootout, then no one's going to be blaming him. But to step up to take the fifth penalty is huge, and it shows a lot about his character. And at Bologna in his first season, he wasn't great. And then we've saw from his teammates that have said that. And then in his second season, he massively improved. Maybe it just took a while for Zirkzee to settle. But what we've seen from his character shows that that's not going to be an issue. Maybe in terms of his all-round performance, maybe he has certain attributes that are not going to be favourable. But in terms of his character, he has shown he is a fighter. He has shown he's got the mentality to succeed at a big club like Manchester United. Number two, we can trust Collyer. Now, I think it was actually beneficial for him that we went down to 10 men. The fact that he came on with 10 men, there's more open spaces, so you need a player with more legs. If we had 11, I think it's quite likely that Casemiro would have been subbed on. But given that we were down to 10, I think Amorim thought we need somebody to be able to cover those spaces. And that's why I think he put on Collyer. But from his performance, we learned that we can trust him. Coming on in these circumstances, down to 10 men, away from home, against the odds, to come on and deliver a performance like that, it shows we can trust him. And now, I don't want to see Casemiro being brought on, whether or not he goes or not. I don't care. I don't want to see Casemiro being brought on ahead of Collyer. Collyer has leapfrogged him in the team to be brought on ahead of him. And also, I think it would be nice to have another academy player that's playing football in the first team regularly. Because obviously Rashford very likely is either going to go on loan or a permanent move. But he doesn't look like he's got a future. There's rumours about Garnacho, but, I hope not. But it's only Mainu really at the minute. And to be fair, Garnacho is not a Manchester United Academy product. We signed him from Atletico Madrid. He counts as a homegrown player because I think we got him before he's 18. But in terms of players that have actually come through the academy, not just bought at a later stage, Collyer and Mainu are the only real two playing for the first team at the moment. So I think it's important to keep that tradition. Manchester United is built on bringing through academy prospects. So Toby Collyer is the next in that long list, hopefully. Number three, this team is likable. Now, I put a question mark because for sure they were likable in that game. And for sure, they were likeable against Liverpool. But I put a question mark because if we lose the next 3 games and it looks like they're not trying, like, I mean, we've had 2 massive fixtures in a row, Arsenal away, Liverpool away, and the team looked up for it, ready to fight. And that's what fans want. We can understand poor performances. We can understand things not clicking with the new system. But sometimes it looked like they weren't trying. After that Newcastle defeat, 2-0, I have never felt so disconnected from the players. They've won back my affinity towards them with these 2 performances. Now they have to go to Southampton and have a very different performance, but still have the same intensity. And that picture on the left-hand side there really sums it up. So this is in the 90th minute. So United had a corner that Arsenal got away, and the commitment of all the players sprinting back. Ligt, that's the second player up, obviously in the black shirt for United. He was probably the furthest back, and he absolutely went by, like Usain Bolt running the bloody 100 meters, sprinted back at full sprint. But you can see the levels of commitment from all of the players there. It was, it was incredible, and something that we didn't really see in some games under Amorim, or even with Ten Hag. I think the level of fight, the level of desire, and if that meant taking out a player, like a passenger player like Marcus Rashford may have been, then that's completely fine. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. So the players are starting to earn the trust of the fans, which I think is important. Number 4. Oh, you got a preview there. Number 4. Yoro has an elite mentality. At 19 years of age, as a centre-back, no one would ever expected Yoro to stand up and take a penalty. In fact, looking at the team and the players that are on the pitch, he's probably one of the last players that I thought would have taken one. And the thing is, he knows that. He knows it's not like he's a striker and he's expected to take one, so he sort of feels under pressure. Oh, I'm going to have to take one. This is Yoro stepping up when no one expects him to. And again, we talk about Zirkzee's a fighter. He's got the mentality. This shows me that he has the mentality. In his penalty, it doesn't matter if the keeper went the right way. It hits the side netting. But this is the mentality that we need. And he's showing leadership at a young age. This is the mentality that shows me that he's going to be successful in his career. Number 5, Maguire, the leader we need. Since Amorim has come in, he's been incredible. Amorim's playing a system that suits him, having that more defensive cover in that back 3. It suits his major weakness of having a lack of pace, but everything else in the air, you saw against Arsenal in the air, he was winning absolutely everything. Amorim previously has said in press conferences that we need more leaders out on the pitch, and Maguire's a big responsibility for that. Ligt, he's shown leadership, especially at Ajax. Have Maguire, Yoro, you saw with the elite mentality point. He's like a young leader. Obviously Bruno as well. It's we are starting to develop more leaders, and obviously he got stripped of the captaincy, but that doesn't mean that he can't show any leadership attributes. We have triggered his option to extend for another year, so I really think he can be an important player for us at that time. Number 6, we were wrong about Bayindir. I was wrong about Bayindir. After the Carabao Cup match versus Spurs, we were saying that we need another number 2. Bayindir's a massive drop off from Onana. He's not good enough. conceding from a corner, looking shaky all game, making mistakes. But we were wrong about Bayindir. He deserves that number 2 spot, especially after. And some people are even saying that he deserves to start over Onana, which I think is a bit of a stretch. But yeah, he was excellent in that match. Obviously, in the first half, he was still a little bit shaky. He was like booting the ball out of play, his distribution, the ball at his feet, he wasn't great. But after that penalty save from Odegaard, which was the first one in his professional career, he was incredible. Both in normal time, that Declan Rice header where it was David De Gea-esque, where tipping it over the bar. And both penalty saves were in the corner. They were not bad penalties. They were just excellent stops from Bayindir. So he deserves his spot as Manchester United's number 2. Number 7, organised from set pieces. We've already touched on leadership of Maguire. That's a big part of it. But also we've learnt from our mistakes against Arsenal last time in the league at the Emirates. They didn't really trouble us from open play. It was only from set pieces that we were really troubled. And they tried it again today. Every single opportunity that they had, they were flopping on the floor like a fish, like trying to win free kicks or penalties in Havertz's case. But we were a lot more organised, and granted, part of the reason why they didn't look so dangerous was because the quality of the set pieces were not as good. Like they tried to play quite a lot of deep corners, whereas in the first match against us, they literally just fizzed it basically at the keeper and had players sort of running across the keeper, which is always going to be difficult. The quality of the set pieces wasn't the same today, but still, you've got to give credit to the coaches as well as the team and Amorim, the coaches as well, for looking organised from set piece. And it didn't look like all game we were going to concede from a set piece. And that's just like people, like I say, it's part of the set pieces, the leadership and organisation, players like Maguire, and also people taking personal responsibility for their, even though, we're probably zonal marking, but people taking responsibility for their zone, not their man, you would say, but for their zone, people fighting for the ball. You can't train commitment to trying to win that ball. We had that today, and that's a reason why they didn't look a threat from set pieces. Number 8, Garnacho takes his chance. It was Garnacho's first start in a Manchester United shirt for about a month, maybe over a month. It was after that Manchester derby, obviously, which is since before that Manchester derby, which he was dropped, obviously. He played well against Liverpool off the bench, getting an assist, and then follows that up with a start today. Amorim again rewarding Garnacho, good man management for his assist against Liverpool, and he followed that up with an assist today. So 2 assists in 2 games. This is in a game with very few chances. He won the 50-50 well with Saliba. I think it was Saliba. And then, some criticism of Garnacho in the past has been that he doesn't make the right decision. He made the right decision with the pass, and Bruno scored. The rest is history, you might say. But Garnacho, there's been rumours with him linked and for the move outside of United, which I really hope that we don't, unless we get around 60, 65, 70 million. We don't want to become a team that sells our players that are actually getting used, that are good, that we can see, young players that we can see a future at Manchester United. I can see a future at Manchester United for Garnacho, and therefore I don't want him to be sold. But yeah, fingers crossed. Number 9, De Ligt's perfect response. So he had a lot of criticism, sort of rightly so, against Liverpool, but I do think he, just in general, since he's come in, has been the focus of a lot of of fans, for like rival fans, and the media have been the like unfair criticism, like overhyped criticism, basically, like just irrational criticism. But against Liverpool, the Gakpo goal where he went down to ground too easily and Gakpo cut inside him. And then obviously the handball, which is more of an instinctive thing, to be honest. I don't think he could do anything about it. You know, you can criticise players for, if they're in that same situation again, would they do the same thing? And I think because it's just acting on instincts with Ligt and it's just where his hand was, I think he probably would do that again. It's not like you can learn from that kind of mistake because he's not consciously thought, I'm going to put my hand up. But yeah, there's no denying his performance yesterday. The image on the right here, there, I love. It's after he's just made that goal-saving challenge. Trossard is just there, literally to tap it in. Ligt from absolutely out of nowhere gets the block in, and then that's his celebration in the net. Basically, like he scored a goal himself. It shows what it means to him, and I guess it's just another example of the players fighting to grind out the result. And number 10, mistakes almost cost us again. Now, there's been 9 positives, and this is going to be the one negative. I put it right at the very end, but I did have to include it. So for all that grinding, for all that positivity, we could have all thrown it all away due to an unforced error. Delo on the half, and I don't want to focus on Delo. I just want to focus on the broader point in general that mistakes almost cost us again, because Delo was excellent last week, so I'm not going to target Delo. He was fantastic against rinsed Trent, which was a massive improvement. But on the halfway line, when you are 1-0 up in probably our best spell in the match for how we were playing, on a yellow card, Delo has a heavy touch, loses control of it, and then desperately tries to make up for it by making a lunging challenge where he's not the favourite to win the ball. So these type of moments, these type of mistakes, they can happen. Like, they can happen. They can happen, but they should be happening, if any, like once or twice a season. It seems like it's happening to us every single game, whether not something directly like this, like 2 yellow cards, although that happened with Bruno, but something like an unforced error, maybe Onana passing to someone from the back, maybe just somebody just not marking Martinez in a couple of weeks ago, just not marking anyone, or not following a runner, just mistakes like that are just so easily avoidable that cost us goals, cost us games. Mistakes almost cost us again. We need to cut that out if we are going to have a string of consistent results and to improve. So yeah, that is 10 things we learned. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it, if you agree, if you have any or anything else. I'd really like to see your feedback, what you thought on the game, and I will see you guys next video. Ciao, ciao.